welcome everybody again. So the focus this week is going to be dirt or turd or however you want to call it, right? And when we're looking at this guy right off the bat, what do we see as terms of, I mean, without pointing at any movement, what are we seeing in terms of dirt? Just dirt. Don't have to look at any of the movements.
Everything happens all at once. It's fast.
Happens all at once, right?
Outside ski turns before the inside ski when the skier turns to the left.
No, no way. There's some weirdnesses that are going on too,
You've
right?
got a lot of stuff going on.
There's a lot of, hey man, I didn't pick
His
this
his,
guy
his
because
left ankle is overflexed. His ankles aren't flexed evenly, and he's constantly overflexing his left ankle.
yeah. Well, how's that? What does that mean in terms of dirt? You're looking right away at the. I'm gonna start making you, Scott, say all the good things he's doing. It's
There's
not
a very-
error detection and correction, right?
He's upright.
He's
He went
upright.
skiing. He's not on a snowboard. There's some good things.
There are some good things. Hey, the snow's really good, and he's making spray, right?
He's
It looks
controlling
like,
his speed.
There's, but in terms of
looks like-
rate, there's like a really abrupt rotation. And like,
Without even saying rotation, right?
no, but there's abruptness at the bottom.
Exactly.
And there's also like a really bad timing issue.
Oh, okay. Speak to the timing. What are you thinking about in terms of timing?
There's a bit sequential turning.
Well, I mean, it's
Happening.
not just turning, right?
Well, I would say there's a sequential rotation.
I mean, that's probably the thing that everybody sees first, right?
Yep.
I mean, if especially a guy like me who's a rotationally biased, I mean, I look at everybody in terms of rotation first. It's just me. But it's not just rotation, right? I mean, there's sequential movements everywhere.
Yep.
Edging is sequential. The ski to ski pressure version of it is very sequential, very abrupt, very weird, right? So we
Almost like
can't just, what I'm looking for is that broad overall look of dirt without actually assigning any fundamentals to it. Because sometimes we get stuck on, well, he really needs to bend the outside ski more than the inside ski, blah. I mean, the regular rote stuff that we have to say. But, when we're looking at the overall picture, it's sometimes nice to just say, okay, there is a lot of stuff going on here and it's all happening as Dion said at once. I like what you said about the timing. I'm just kind of fishing for, what do you mean by timing? Right?
So,
Is it early, late,
How about this, Chuck?
weirdness? Huh?
From dirt, the top of the turn happens much faster than the bottom of the turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in terms of sequential, there's like you were talking about there's all these different body parts that are moving at different times
Yeah.
in the turn.
There we go.
So like there's also even arm movements happening at the bottom of the turn,
Yeah.
which to me is, it's almost like he's swimming with his shoulders at the end of the turn. Like he's kind of doing that to slow
Now,
himself down.
what is that weird thing that he's doing? Because he only really does it on one side, right?
Yeah.
It was like, why are we dipping the shoulder on that side, but you don't really do it at all on the other side?
Maybe in his mind he's vataling.
Well, maybe he's only got one spout and he can only go to one side,
I think because his right turn's dominant and his left turn's non-dominant.
There we go. Okay, so he's stronger on one foot than the other, right? I think there's a biomechanical piece in there, and I'll point that out a little bit later. But yeah, there's a lot of kind of, I mean, as we start to dissect this thing, at the top of the turn, I don't see a lot happening, and then all of a sudden it happens a lot. All the pieces move, but they don't move in order.
There's also an intensity piece with the heaviness at the bottom.
Yeah,
There's like a lot of heel pushing going on at the bottom.
cool.
So it's intense, like skidding and braking for speed
Yeah.
control at the bottom.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of grip down there, right? He's seeking the grip, and then when he finally happens, it all happens all at once, right?
Right.
Hey, I've got a question that's kind of off the beaten path, but
Yeah,
has
go
to
ahead.
relate with dirt. So the intensity part of dirt,
Uh-huh.
what's really the difference between that and magnitude?
Yes. Magnitude. Well,
I know the
okay.
definition of magnitude, but
That's why I hate that word, right?
yeah.
I'm in the middle of writing an article right now, right, about something that will be discussed later. But one of the things that I point out in this article is that we tend to, as instructors, use a lot of words that we don't know what the hell mean. And the fifth fundamental, regulating the magnitude of pressure through ski-stow interaction is just a clusterfuck of words that nobody knows what it means, right? And it'd be really nice if we could distill it down to words that are really understandable, from an intuitive, simple way that we don't have to explain. And so magnitude is one of those words of, well, what the hell does magnitude mean? It's the magnitude, but it's in all directions, right? It's like a giant balloon, right? Okay, great. What does that really mean? So I'm not a big fan of the magnitude, or that's why I kind of go with managing, because we manage it through other fundamentals. But even that is a loaded word, right? We're still and what are we managing? We're managing pressure. Well, what is pressure? Pressure is really the end result, not really the active part of magnitude of pressure. So it's a very loaded word. And I saw that when it was something that I saw a long time ago, or put together actually I stole this from somebody else. This dirt thing, this chart that I made. I stole that from somebody else, and I found it on the internet in some tremendously obscure website that nobody ever found, and that was it. How much in magnitude? I'm gonna say, intensity is a good enough word. We don't have to really say magnitude, but it really means about how much. And just get rid of the magnitude part. But it's a lot, a little, how, high, heavy, light, soft, more, less, right? But these are all great words that we can use when we're talking, particular fundamentals.
Can I ask you a question as well?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it looks to me like his ankles are actually flexed
Okay.
most of the time, but then the spray is really coming from the back,
Yeah.
which doesn't make sense, because if he's really has enough pressure in front of the ski or along the length of the ski, why is all the spray coming out of the back of the ski?
Well, that's a very good question. And what do you think the obvious answer is?
Hey, Chuck, you got a little bit of reverb or something going on.
Is it me?
Yeah. Think.
It's like echoey.
Hello? All right. All right. Hold on. Let me change microphones.
Hey, Rebecca, I agree with you. I noticed that with it seems like he's back. You can see the tops of his skis, the front of his skis bouncing a little bit, and the spray's coming off the back, but his ankles are flexed a lot.
Actually, it wasn't me. It's Rebecca that's got the reverb. So the obvious answer is, well, no, okay. Let's go ahead and fight through this a little bit. So
Can I offer something?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is the anatomist in me, but he's got really long shins. So He's got long shin bone. Like he looks like tall. So, and maybe his boots are like, it's almost like he can flex too much in his boots. So I just wonder about that.
Mm.
See how long his shins are compared to, it's almost as long as his quad.
Yeah, it almost is, isn't
So
it?
like, I'm just wondering if like, there's a part of him that's how he's staying in balance is maybe he's got super flexy boots and in order to stay balanced, he sits his butt back and skids out, but he's got ankle flexion for sure. But
Well,
doesn't seem,
he's got
he
a
has no,
little bit of ankle flexion,
but
right?
he doesn't have any pressure control. Like it doesn't seem like he can he's not putting any pressure through the front of his toes or feet. So it's
No,
all,
actually, he does at the very, very beginning, and then it's over very quickly.
well, right there, I guess.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But
the
the
ankle,
point, the
yeah,
and
that's
I'm
just what
trying
I
to
see.
answer. I want to answer Rebecca's question in a way that's understood. Sometimes what we're seeing is we go, oh, you see, I'm seeing ankle pressure, but the skis aren't performing that way. So if the skis aren't performing the way they should be, if he had proper boot, he had boot contact with the front of the boot, because that's not everything, because we have multiple joints. So he must be doing something wrong.
Maybe he forgot to buckle his boots.
I'm going to suggest that maybe,
That's what I think, Scott.
I've already heard from Dion once that he's very upright, right?
Yeah.
So he's compensating with the ankle flex by bending his knees a lot.
Mm.
And that's causing him to, because that's what he needs to do in order to push snow.
There's also a moment at the beginning of his turn where he uses all of that ankle flexion and gets really forward, and it gets so forward he's almost doing a tip press, and that allows him to swing the tails out to the side rapidly because he made that part of the ski not contact with the snow. So that allows him, so yeah, he gets forward and then he pushes his skis out from under him by moving the back of the ski. So he uses the front of the ski as a fulcrum for the back.
Mm.
That makes sense to everybody? Because it's very confusing when you look at this the first time. You're like, well, he looks like he's forward. And he is briefly, only long enough to get that tail swung around.
Can you pause it to see where he presses the tips
Yeah,
into the snow? Because
right,
I see the fast swing in the rear,
right,
but I'm not seeing a tip press
right there.
right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could
The
see the
face.
shovel, you could see the outside ski. Well, problem that he has is that he's also an inside ski rider. But you see
It
how
might
the
be
tail
easier
moves
to see
around?
on the other turn.
It might be. I thought this one was the most illustrative because I actually see ski bend here on this side.
Mhm.
Yeah, there it is.
And then it's over. And then the
It's
tail engages, and then watch the tips. Right?
yeah, then they just flutter. The tips flutter at the end.
Exactly. And we'll see if we can pick it up on this side. All right. And there it is, right? Now he's got just enough pressure to get that tip to engage so he can push the tail out. And then we'll watch the little continuance. He's got two different turns.
Yes.
Very much two different turns. Yeah.
His left turn is a very wedgy turn. His right turn is more parallel.
Yeah. Which would make you think he's very right foot dominant.
Mm.
I'm
Okay, cool.
glad you pointed that out, Chuck, because for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why I keep seeing him being too far back with those flexed ankles. Because his knees are bent, but they're not crazy bent.
They're not crazy
And
bent,
his
but
upper
it's
body's kind of over the front of his skis.
well, it is briefly, and then it's not because
Yeah.
we might as well stick with this fundamental. Okay, so when he goes through initiation of the turn, there is a brief extension of the outside of both legs. Okay, and he extends both the ankles and the knees, not the hips quite so much, but there is a definitive extension right there, right? And now that's that twinkle toe part where he's got the ballerina thing. Yeah, he's definitely a little bit back, but he's seeking pressure, he's seeking grip with the tip in order to get those tails to move around. So he sinks quickly into that outside ski to allow him to do that. Only long enough to get that tail to move just enough so that he can find that grip with the back of the ski again. Because he is no different than 95% of our other clients. He uses friction as a way to slow him down. And he is seeking ways to get to that friction part.
So a piece that I'm
here we
not
go.
hearing for what it's worth is at about the fall line or a little bit later, you can watch his hip flexors open. The knees stay bent, the ankles stay bent, but as soon as the hip flexors open, it starts to pull pressure from the front of the boot. As the hip flexors open at the end of the shaping phase into the finish and into the initiation, the upper body is twisting and bending. In other words, the hips are starting to bend, so the shoulders move forward. So early in the initiation, he's getting some tip pressure because the shoulders are over the tips of the skis. Very early in the turn, it's a combination of the rotation and bending of the hip flexors. And at about the fall line or a little later, you watch the hips open again. The hip flexors open, which is forcing him to get the weight on the back of the skis and start to come off the tips of the skis and pressure the tails of the skis. It's a very refined movement he's got going on here.
Yeah, and it's not the same on both sides.
Agreed, but that movement is there on both sides.
I'll agree with that.
So if you could get him to actually shuffle his feet forward and backward under his upper body instead of opening and closing his hip flexors, you would have him maintain more pressure on his skis throughout the whole turn, theoretically putting him into a position, or at least starting to put him into a position to start to accept energy from the skis earlier in the turn instead of everything all at once at the end of the turn.
Questions on that? Got a lot of level 3s here today.
But as far as the overall dirt goes, I think you hit it well earlier. Everything he does with intent and purpose and repetitively and with great rapidity. There is nothing progressive about the movement patterns. Things are quick, and because they're quick, he's got high intensity of any of his movements, whether it's a weighting of the ski or an unweighting of the ski or a rotation of the ski, the intensity is high.
So, can anybody give me an example of the timing piece? Because I'm still fishing for that timing piece. And if you could find an example, that would be awesome. Because Katie, you're the one who kind of brought it up, but there is some timing issues here.
If nobody speaks, I'll jump in.
Well, I mean, I'd see the rotary, from a timing perspective, he rotates his shoulders to start his turn
Okay.
as opposed to turning his feet and legs.
So what does that make the skis do in terms of timing?
Outside ski moves first, and the inside ski moves second, and also puts him towards the back of the skis.
Okay.
Are you asking about timing in relationship to a fundamental or just timing in relationship to turning?
It's entirely up to you how you want to describe it. I'm not going to pin you down on a fundamental, okay? But I would like to see that. What I'd like to see from that point of view is there is a timing piece that's happening. He's doing this late, which causes this to happen, and I see the result in the ski doing this. Does that make sense?
I'll try to say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
So particularly on that left turn when he really wedges, I think he's getting weight to his outside ski extremely late. So he's stuck on that inside ski for most of the turn.
Okay.
And I think that's why he has to dip his shoulder, is to try. I don't know why. I mean, because he dips that left shoulder when he turns to the left. It's like somehow is helping him get that inside ski around. But he has to get his weight off the inside skis to avoid the wedge, so he could hopefully avoid the wedge when he turns left.
Or maybe that's because that's his dominant side.
But he turns left worse than he turns right.
Right.
Okay.
Because there's this really hard thing that's happening at the top, right? There's a big twist, and you said something about the lower shoulder or
Right.
the new downhill shoulders moving way down the hill.
Yeah.
So cool. So
But he
there's
needs to get his weight on this outside ski sooner, because like in this picture, all of his weight is on that inside ski, and I think that's why it gets stuck and wedges.
There we go. Yeah. So that twist at the top, that's happening like here, which somebody's already alluded to, that he's kind of pushing off this side, right?
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden he uses that to move his lower body to the other side. But he's still on the inside ski, and then he finally is like starting to find the outside ski. But
Right.
It's pretty obvious from this angle that regardless of the fact he's trying to seek pressure on the outside ski, he's trying to bend the outside ski, he's landing on the inside ski still.
Right.
Until he finally settles. And then the inside ski comes off the ground. But it's kind of the opposite on the other side. Because he actually picks up the inside ski there early. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't have that weird real hard twist that drops the shoulder on that side.
Right.
That's that timing piece. That's that timing piece I'm kind of looking for there is, yeah, he has a big twist and a drop on one side, which keeps his pressure on the inside ski, and it takes a long time to find pressure to the outside ski. But here he finds pressure on the outside ski by
Right.
literally lifting up the inside ski as a result of he's not really twisting as much on this side and definitely not doing the shoulder dip down the hill.
Right. He's already, because in this, he was already on that outside ski much earlier when he's turning this way.
Yeah,
He's
he
turning to
was.
the right.
Does he stay on the outside ski the whole time?
No, it looks like there he's back on the inside.
Yeah, he's back on the inside again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are some movement patterns there, but he's got to, from one turn to the next, there's a reversal that's happening. There's that timing piece. So he needs to figure out how to pick one, right? Let's find out how we can get the timing that's the same. Does that make sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Dion, did you want to add something different?
I actually just wanted to clarify something that Mike said about the twist.
Okay, cool.
So if you want to stop and pause him, like right about now,
All right, right about now. All right.
and then
Slowly moving forward.
slowly moving forward, his skis are still traveling kind of across the hill-ish. And his first move is actually the twist as he actually kind of pushes his right leg out. So he's extending his right leg as he's twisting, but stop him right there. Look at how, like, his head is inside the turn from his foot. So is his shoulder. He's got a lot of twist going on there that not only affects his fore aft, but it affects how he is stacked over each ski. And when he goes back the other way, maybe because he ends up, I think this might be a chicken egg thing for why the two turns are different, but he's finishing in the end of this turn. He's still really inside his skis and up the hill. So it takes him longer to get his upper body twisted, which then allows him to balance because he's already over his left ski, because he's inside his left ski. When he starts to actually twist so he can make a right turn, it actually starts to stack him over the left ski. So he's not purposely putting weight or aligning to that ski. He just turned left so hard that he ended up taking forever to get even back to the middle. So that allows that time. So that timing piece, he still has a wedge, but he picks the foot up because he ended up so far inside. I think also looking at it, the hill might have a little bit to do with that. It looks like there's a second fall line that comes in.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I agree. I think Arrow is probably a secondary
So, he might actually be getting some little bit of help when he goes left from the hill as far as aligning. But even before he begins to even think about transitioning, he's still pushing spray and he's already turned to the inside. So he wasn't even remotely done with the right turn and he's already turning left.
with the upper body.
With the upper body.
With the upper body. Because you can see the movement happen here, right? Because he's braced, and then you can see him, he's still braced, but the upper body's starting to twist. And as soon as the upper body starts to twist, there goes the new outside leg.
It's the timing piece between the two turns of when he turns his upper body.
Yeah. And
he
how
turns
much.
it and how much. He turns it later and with less intensity when he goes to the right. So these two turns are feeding into each other. Either he's getting significantly more speed control out of his one turn than the other, and so feels he needs to shut it down, or conversely, slowed down too much and is trying to speed it up.
Cool.
But there's two different sets of speeds and perhaps two different motivations, because on a different hill, we might see the pattern be more equal on each side.
Maybe he's got a foot injury or something. He's so dominant on that left foot. Maybe they're so different.
He could have a foot injury. He could have a knee injury. He could have a hip injury.
Yeah.
He could have had an injury and doesn't have it anymore and is just favoring it. Or he figured out how to ski by accident. Nobody ever told him he's supposed to stand on the outside ski and ideally get the outside ski at least to go to flat before you try and turn.
And
it goes to flat. It just doesn't go to flat the same time the other ski does. Or even when he's aligned over it. Because he's never aligned when he's got the ski flat, right? Whoops, sorry. Because here, I mean, this is a great spot right here, right? Well, he kind of skips the part where it's supposed to be flat. But this one's like, when does the ski go flat? There it is. but he's
Which
still got a
ski?
lot of.
I don't even know that it's flat there, Gumby.
It's flat
You know,
relative to the hill. I'm going to say, and I'm
one
just looking at
ski
the
is
outside stuff.
flat.
One ski
One
is flat.
ski is still on edge.
It looks like a wedge turn.
Then it's like the big skid, right? The third base slide before he finally finds his grip that he wants.
Yep. But only one ski goes flat in either of the turns from what I observed.
Yeah, briefly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they both have to go flat, but only one is perfect.
Well, one of them goes flat in the air, one of them goes flat on the snow.
Right. All right.
So
Hey, go
either
ahead.
way, you end up with a timing issue where he is attempting to begin his turn while his skis, either one or both, are on their wrong edges. They're on the old edges instead of the new edges. So he needs to let go of one turn before he starts to begin the next turn.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, just to simplify it, because I'm with everything you said. I was just thinking it's almost like there's a rushing of the transition. It's like and his upper body is entering the new turn before his lower body is.
100%.
Agreed.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Is this what I've heard, that if you turn with your upper body, you're just sort of stuck in that turn for a long time and you don't really have control, as opposed to if you turn with your skis? And it seems like what I was hearing is when he turns, particularly on his weaker side to the left, he's just stuck and has to let all that go out before he can start a new turn.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Laura, it can even be more than that. If you can imagine a turn where we had somebody who was turning their legs, at any moment, they could stop turning their legs. So say there's something in the snow. Their friend calls them from further down the hill. They need to be in a different spot. They can stop the turn. Once he stops turning his upper body, his skis are committed to turning that much and aligning with his upper body. He can't stop turning until he comes back into an alignment.
And this is part of a
Right.
cascade of stuff too, right? Because he doesn't have good command of his foreaft, which begets the fact that you have to do something in order to get your skis to turn, which is usually the first thing you do is use upper body.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's stuck with the consequences of all of that movement in order for him to become balanced on the skis. Leo says, I think it's very defensive that he's using his outside leg one more than the other to keep his center of mass inside the turn and uphill. I think that's his intent, to be honest with you, Leo. I mean, what he knows is I need to produce a skid to slow down because that's what everybody else does.
So he's also probably on blue runs, so he's an intermediate skier at least.
Yeah.
But I would also suggest that, he may not know any better. So he's definitely exemplifying that he's in touch with his inner toddler. The movement patterns are really toddler-like.
Yeah, there were a lot of big movements, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's not a lot of refined. Well, I mean, it's refined to a point, but he's refined only enough that he can get as far as he can. I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
it's not
This
too
is
refined. I mean, he's still using big muscles.
this is Stan, a stock analyst from New York, who only comes up to Killington twice a year, right? I mean, come on, right? He's just happy he's skiing.
Stan needs to cycle more
Stan needs to cycle more.
and get out of the house a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's up there for a 4 or 5 day stint with his family, and this is, this is the result.
No one has broken their leg or torn their ACL yet,
Yeah, exactly.
but it's coming.
All right, we got to move on to breakout rooms. I want to get everybody in tonight, and I'm going to do the same thing I've done in the past. I've got 3 breakout rooms. I got all the L3s in one, and then I got the 2s in the other 2. And I'm going to come in. I'm going to drop a video, and really I want to keep this in broad sketches right now, okay? Let's not, I mean, it's September still. We don't have to be completely buttoned down on everything. Let's go ahead and make some mistakes because I'm going to institute a good, better, best tonight. Okay? So somebody gets to be first and then somebody else come in right behind and say, here's a little bit better, and then hopefully we can say something up to the little bit best. Does that make sense? And let's keep it in broad strokes. And I really, really, really want to emphasize the use of dirt tonight, okay? Because that's our focus. Let's really, the problem that I see a lot with the L2s is they don't use a lot of dirt at all. And even when you get to level 3, it still seems like that people are being prompt by the examiner about when and where and how much, right? So let's really kind of button that in and get it down to those pieces, all right? Go to your rooms. Nah. And we're just going to be looking at the girl in white. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. Let me get the screen share going. Bam, bam. All right, cool. I'm going to turn the sound off. There we go. All right. So let's look at her. I mean, pick a fundamental. What's the thing that catches your eye?
I initially liked her consistently progressive round turns. Very, if we're talking dirt, very consistent rotation and rate and duration and timing. And I initially thought that she was initiating her turns with a movement forward, but I think I'm noticing that she's actually kind of behind in her skis. Her
Cool.
ankles are open.
Okay.
She seems to be, even though the tips are turning about the same rate as the tails are following the tips. She seems to be pushing out a little bit with her heels.
All right, cool. There we go. So let's speak to. It sounds like you want to go with fore aft. Okay.
I guess. Well, I don't want to do it, but I just.
You don't want to do it? Too bad. You're gonna have to. Because I mean, it's not a big deal. It really isn't. Like I said, I like where you're going with it, right? I like the fact there's several things that are going on that are good to me. I think she's doing a pretty good job of trying to be stable with the upper body, and she's trying her darndest to make sure both skis turn at the same time. I think she's fairly well balanced, because when she gets to this point right about here, that looks not quite so as balanced as we would like, but it's not terrible, right? Probably would like to see her a little bit more balanced over to forefoot as she starts the new turn, right? Which is, there's where the skis are flat. I'd like to see her a little bit more forward than that, so that I know that she can get the skis to engage. And then when she's finally settled, she tends to kind of sit back.
But it visually, it looks like she's got flex in her ankles.
No, I think she's got flex in her ankles. But let's take a look at it from terms of, I mean, you kind of hit it right on the head. Is she really engaging the tips of her skis, or is she really more pushing her heels around?
She's pushing her heels around. She's not tipping as much. She's
So
also turning with her upper body. Is getting them.
Yeah, she's using her upper body to twist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, she's pretty good, but right there is twist. Right there, twist. You see the arm move, right? The arm is taking the shoulder in a new direction, right?
Yeah.
So she's using upper body twist too, which is affecting her ability to pressure the front of the ski. She's just pretty practiced at it.
It looks to me like she's still on her uphill edges when she pole plants, and she pole plants down the hill, which she does by rotating her shoulders, which initiates the turn.
Yes, exactly.
As that process continues, then she transfers to the new edges.
New edges,
that
right?
initiates
Cool.
the turn.
Yeah. So none of that happens until the pole plant happens, and then right.
It's
So
almost after the
when
pole
should?
plant.
So now this is a timing issue. When should we be actually pole planting?
When your edges transition.
Yeah, you should be at the transition piece, right? Both edges should be on the ground when you should be when you're supposed to be pole planting. That's the ideal, but it's a very good indication of, well, she's on old edges when she pole plants,
Right.
and that tells you that's at, it's not even a chicken and egg thing, right? The reason why she has to use the upper body twist is because she's never flattened the skis to allow them to move on their own.
Right.
So she has to use something else, and she uses the upper body to do it. And there's an extension that happens too. Now, the good thing is, I would say for you, Michael, the shins are pretty well pressed against the front of the boot.
Yeah.
But the knee is a little overflexed and the hip is a little bit overflexed.
Yeah, I
Flexing the knee never got anybody forward.
Well, I think your fore aft pretty good. I mean,
Her fore aft isn't terrible, but I would like to see more pressure on the inside on the new ski earlier. But this is, again, it's about timing and how she's doing it. She is getting an extension right there, where she opens up the knees and opens up the hip. But as soon as she's done doing that, let's take it really, really slowly. When she's done doing that, right, there's the extension, then what happens?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was watching my own. Here we are. I'm on the screen.
Yeah. When she does the extension, that's right there, right? And then it's kind of over. Here's the extension.
Yeah.
And then it's over.
And she settles in.
She settles back to that same position every time, doesn't she? And that position there is not what I would consider ideal for pressuring the tips of the skis.
Correct, but her ankles are flexed.
Her ankles are flexed. Remember, it's not always about the ankles. We have two other joints that are responsible. And as I said, nobody ever flexed the knee. Flexing the knees never got anybody forward.
So we might see that her ankles seem to be correctly or effectively flexed, but her knees are overflexed.
Her knees are overflexed, which puts her in that kind of sitting position.
Right.
Right? And she tries to compensate a little bit with her hips, but come on, if I drew a line from her shoulders down to her skis, where would they end up?
Right.
Right on her heels. Right? And even though she does this very brief extension at the tip of the turn, that's more of a pivot than it is, and a twist than it is pressuring the tip of the ski. She's not actively trying to bend the tip of the ski. She's trying to up, twist, settle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, she'd probably have some difficulties when the terrain got a little bit steeper.
Probably, yeah. I mean, that's not something I want to see in the bumps. Right? We need to be more balanced by that. I would love to see her in the bumps. I think it would be very interesting to see her platform. But, in terms of dirt, when we're looking at this ski, and she gets to right here, and then there's the extension, right? And the extension's now over, because now she's moving back down again. only long enough to, as you said, Tom, to transition from one edges to the other. And then she settles in, and then it's more heel pushing.
And she's
So it's a very, very brief extension. She briefly extends just the knees and the hips at the initiation at pole plant, only to transition from one set of edges to the other and not to bend the tip of the ski. Yes?
agreed.
But the key is it's a very rapid extension and it's very, very brief. And then the timing, of course, is weird, right? Because she waits until here. She's starting to release, but she's already pole planting. She's still on the old edges. Still on there. She's starting. That's better. But the pole plant's already over and she's still on the old edges.
Right.
So at least she's more forward on this one. This is probably the best one I've seen her do, but she's more forward on this one, but I still see a little bit of a wedge there. And then it's, the wedge is over. And then she starts to sink back right there. Even before she hits the apex of the turn, she's already back.
Got a really smooth rotary movement. I mean, she's maintaining her pressure sufficiently that there's no jumping around in the skis.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is from Jen Matz. This is from her channel, so I'm going to assume that she's an instructor, probably an L2 candidate. So this is probably somebody you're going to see in your L2 exam.
And she's all inclination, almost no angulation, which also makes it hard for her to get down the hill and they shift weight to the outside ski.
It's a little harder to tell on women because they have that Q angle, which tends to confuse people. But I think for you, Tom, the key there is that when is she on her highest edge angles?
At the end of the turn.
Yeah, at the end of the turn. She does get on a high edge angle early, but it's still kind of pivoting when she does it.
Yeah, the way she extends doesn't keep her body moving downhill, right?
No, it's not.
It takes her away from the turn.
Yeah, and I kind of indicated in a way that it speaks to what I think is her intent, is that, bridging off of what Tom was talking about, the edge, she's using the extension to help her move from one side to the other. She's not using the extension to engage the ski at the top of the turn. Because of how brief it is. It's so brief. It's over in like an instant. I mean, she doesn't even get one ski length before she's already sinking back down again. Does that make sense, Leo?
Absolutely right.
Yeah. All right. You guys done? You ready to speak? Who's going to speak first? All right. It's right at 8 o'clock, so I want to make sure that we'll let you guys talk amongst yourselves, and I'm going to go ahead and close all the rooms. Bam. Close all the rooms. All right. Now remember, this is good, better, best. Okay? So the point of the first person to go is to make a lot of mistakes.
Oh, I'll go first.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to build off of what you said, right? And we're going to try to say it better with fewer words. And then the best is going to be, hopefully the most condensed piece. Does that make sense? Ooh. Everybody is taking their time coming back. You guys needed all that time, didn't you?
Of course. course we did. We talked.
We were working very hard in our group.
Yeah,
We really were trying.
we definitely were trying.
Well, let's see.
Okay,
I
David,
was
that's what we give ourselves
exceptionally
is trying.
trying to everyone who was in my group. I was exceptionally trying.
All right. Hey, remember, whoever's speaking first, I am expecting a lot of mistakes. And this is supposed to be good, better, best. So we're going to build on each other. And the idea is the first one's going to be, it may not be terrible, but it's not going to be probably the best. And then the next person can come in and say, hey, this is how I would say it. And then the last person would come in and say, hey, this is how I could condense it down to just the few points. Okay, we're going to talk about in terms of fundamentals, broad picture, and everybody gets to contribute in a good, better, best. Okay.
So understand, Chuck, that in our group, we didn't try. There's do or do not. There is no try.
Okay. Good.
Listen, Yoda.
You know what I think? I think you're going first, right, Mike?
Perfect.
All right. So let's go ahead with the first one here. And it's going to be this group, and should have been breakout room 2. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Who wants to go?
Okay. So I don't know. I guess I'll go. So I was noticing that the initiation and shaping phase were progressive, but the finishing phase was longer. There wasn't a lot of intensity in the ski snow interaction there. It was fairly slow and progressive, except for the finishing phase, which was more elongated, as I said. And the timing was longer in the finish phase, and there was sequential movement in the initiation and shaping phase, and then more simultaneous in the finishing phase.
Cool. Cool. Anybody want to shorten that a little bit?
So we just saw that her finishing phase was too long because she traverses across the hill, and instead we would need to teach her to finish her turn a little up the hill so she no longer needs such a long traverse. So the duration of her finishing phase is too long.
Okay. The finish phase is too long in relation to the other 2 phases.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
And you want her to have a shorter finish phase?
We'd like her to actually finish her turn by going up a little instead of having the long traverse across.
So she really
Actually finishes.
creates more of a C-shaped turn.
Yeah.
Okay. Would that take longer or shorter turn? Would that make it longer or shorter?
It could make it shorter, because instead of just going straight across the hill for a long time, she could come out of her shaping and continue the shaping into a true finish and then begin her next turn.
All right.
It would be more evenly progressive through the initiation, shaping, and finish phase. They would all be more equally timed.
Oh, okay. So there we go. So you would like to see all 3 phases about the same length.
Yeah.
Okay. If you had to put this in terms of no, let's not go there. So you'd like to see the same amount of time for the top, bottom, and third. There you go. That's like the good, better, best, right? So we had like the long explanation. Now we got it down. I just want to see all 3 phases be about the same.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you said something about that, Laura, I was suddenly going, well, is she really in balance in the finish phase, right? If we're trying to get her to shorten that phase and she's not in balance, that might keep her out of balance.
Mm.
You see what I mean? Because she's
You
kind of
mean
like,
in terms of her fore aft balance?
no, well, the fore aft and the sequential piece there, and there's several things that are kind of going on in that
Well,
turn.
we
But
we
we thought
talked,
you were talking dirt here.
Yeah,
So
no, I think what
yeah,
you were doing was perfect. Okay,
but
I was
but we
really fishing
did
for that.
we did talk about that we saw that her skis did not say the same distance apart, and so that inside ski had to catch up a lot. And then Mike led us through the reasons of why that can happen. And what we decided with her is that it has to do with she doesn't have enough upper lower body separation. And that is, I think, we said this, putting too much her inside. I'm not sure what's happening, but she doesn't have enough upper lower body separation. And so she loses control of her inside ski and it has to catch up.
Yeah, she gets stuck.
Okay.
Yeah, because you could see her getting stuck at the end of the turn. That's why I was like, well,
Mhm.
wait a minute, we want to finish more? Because she's so stuck now. I'd almost want her to not finish so much. You see what I mean? I want all three phases to be the same, but I don't want to get her in a position where she gets like here. That was a perfect spot when she gets her right here, right? Now she's kind of in this stuck weird position, and she's got to kind of swing around again to get to the other side because she's finished almost too much.
Mm.
Which affects her rotation and her inside ski and her edging and everything else.
I
Yes.
think that depends on what you mean by finish, because she never aims those ski tips up the hill
No, she doesn't.
because she's stuck.
She's
So,
stuck.
I mean, if from your perspective, maybe having her slow down the initiation and shaping phase to more equal the finish phase may help, but I think at that point in time, you're going to find her accelerating from top to bottom of the hill versus maintaining speed control
Mm,
from top to bottom of the hill.
sure. But that would force her to do what?
Go faster.
Well, it'd make her go faster, but she'd have to control her speed somehow. So maybe she would have to finish more or turn more up the hill.
That's a possibility.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that would be a constraint, right? We're giving her more speed, so now she's got to do something to change that.
But the other hand, you've got to teach her how to separate her upper and lower body so that her body can align for the new turn while her feet are doing something different, i.e., controlling her speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought if you're talking dirt here, then the way that's where we were focusing.
Yeah.
I mean, we weren't focusing on the fundamentals and what she should be doing for aft, pressure, edging, etc.,
I
rotation.
wasn't, and I'm going to be honest with David, I wasn't looking for that. Okay.
Okay.
This is supposed to be broad strokes today. So I
Okay.
like the fact you were talking about, hey, she's doing this here and she's doing this here. And then there's this long finish piece. And then in a roundabout way, you got to, well, we want her to finish more. Well, that's just going to make it longer. No, we want all three phases to be the same. Bingo. That's all I wanted to hear. Let's make all three phases the same size. Give her a new constraint. And maybe that's enough for her. I mean, to say, hey, I'd like to see all three phases the same. And make her figure out how to do that. Yay? Nay? Maybe? Cool.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. All right, white. Who wants a Spreckensy here?
Well, it's easier if you go first because everybody else has to make it better, right?
Yes. You're getting the point of the game.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
You know, You know, I always say teeing off in golf is like walking the plank. Nobody wants to go first, and there's a certain similarity here. Anyhow, this is like probably a young adult, middle-aged woman skiing on, I'd say green-blue terrain, making moderate-sized turns. She initiates the turn by pole planting while she's still on the inside edges. So the timing of that initiation is a problem. And then she flattens her skis and rotates pretty well. Her turns are relatively symmetric. Her timing is pretty even throughout the whole turn. And I'd say her intensity is a little bit greater towards the end of the turn. She kind of kicks her tails out a little bit.
Okay.
So I'll defer to my partners to make that better. Oh, the other thing we notice is that her upper lower separation is not very good.
Yeah.
And that's why she makes this initiation movement by sort of pulling down the hill while she's still facing the trees.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, I offered something, but realized I was muted. So now I got to try to figure out what it was again. And I was trying to figure out how to unmute. I may have missed the last part, Tom, that you added. I guess we discussed a little bit the top of her turn that she uses her upper body to twist into the turn a little bit. She's got an up down that allows her to get into the top part of the turn, which is kind of quick, rather than getting her edges into the top of the turn to assist the shaping phase.
Cool. Leo, do you want to finish it off?
I'm not much more than that. I think we also noticed the way she's using the extension to move her body weight without really doing the rotation at the skis that she needs to be doing.
Cool. So I'll go ahead and button it up real quick. There's a real quick movement at the top of the turn, and then at the bottom 2/3 of the turn, there really isn't a whole lot going on. Most of the happens, and there's a mistiming that's happening at the top of the turn in terms of her pole plant versus her edge exchange. Agree? Disagree?
Agree.
Come on, I need a fight.
So Gumby,
Yeah.
are you saying that I'm seeing the pole touch happen primarily right at edge change?
Ooh, I do not see that at all.
At least in the upper section?
I don't see that at all. I see her on the old
Like,
edges as she starts to do it.
but when it actually touches the ground.
I still don't see that. I mean, I'm going to agree to disagree.
That's fine, because right there, her skis are flat and the pole touches. But they haven't gone onto the new edges. They stay flat. So that part of the timing definitely isn't there.
But look at how the pole putt touch is kind of like her pushing herself up.
Well, yeah, it's because her poles are freaking way too long.
Oh, sorry about that.
And she also takes her hand, brings it forward, and stabs the darn thing into the snow. And it creates a blocking pole plant.
Well, she needs that because how else is she going to get to the other side?
She could turn her upper body and her hips like the rest of us. But it's so instead of the pole being the start to the new turn, it's the end of the old turn.
Yes.
And
that's
having listened, listened right there, I think she's flat, Gumby.
I think she's still on the old edges. I still see base. But, I mean, we could agree to disagree. I still think it's a mistiming.
Hey, can I ask a really dumb question? When are we supposed to pole plant?
at
Oh,
edge
you can
exchange.
watch videos about that endlessly because I've heard
Okay.
at edge exchange, I've heard just after edge exchange, I've heard before edge exchange. Depending, it also depends on the size turn that you have. So like in moguls, I might actually want to touch before edge exchange because I'm using it to stabilize myself.
Mhm.
Whereas in a basic parallel, I might actually want to reach a little down the hill. So it might actually happen after edge exchange because I want to slow down that extension and move along the length of my ski.
Well,
Okay.
in one of our coaching sessions, we were taught actually in a parallel turn to let the snow come to your pole rather than you reaching for the pole. That in a way it's your body movements that create the pole touch rather than you reaching and touching or poking. I'm not
Gotcha.
talking about moguls, but in a groomed terrain.
Like in a basic parallel.
In a
Yeah.
basic barrel. I think that's a great cue.
I know
And I'm
one of my
stealing it.
favorite exercises is actually holding your pole grips just between your thumb and forefinger and letting them swing as you make turns. Just hold them up and you will notice that they start to time a pole swing with your turn. So yeah, it lets the snow come to the pole, but the pole actually is moved by the forces of the turn rather than by your arm. So it's a really cool feeling and it's something to watch and then just play around with different pole touches for different activities.
So, Dion, I'm going to agree with you in the sense that I think on her pole touch, she is coming off the edges, though she hasn't necessarily gone flat with both skis. But I'm not sure the poles are too long as much as she is using, she doesn't know how to use her poles. So ideally, you're going to flick the wrist and arm a little bit straight forward. If you watch her pole plant, the arm goes off to the side and she is literally jabbing the pole from the side like this, giving her that blocking pole plant.
Yeah, she's shish kebabbing
And
and it
she
makes her
keeps
turn.
the hand very low because of that.
Well, I think she's very good at that. I think she knows how
But
to do that.
she's kind of moving a gate out of the way. Chuck, your move.
Yeah, no, I only do that with my left arm.
Okay,
Left
but
arm.
she's kind of moving the old gate out of the way, but
Right.
that's how she's starting her turn. That's the first movement, and it pulls the shoulder into the turn.
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of that quick
Mm-hmm.
movement at the top. So, all right, cool. We got one more. Who wants to sprechen Sie?
This isn't the one we looked at.
It isn't?
No.
Oh, okay. Was it? Oh, was it this one?
That's Pete Titsworth, I swear.
All right. I don't want. I don't want to hear comments.
I think it was a different. Yeah, I think it was this one.
It was
Yeah,
Carol.
Yeah, it
Carol.
was Carol.
All right. I got this full speed. No, I don't. All right. Cool. Yeah, I think Carol was actually more interesting anyway. So who wants to do the good? Good enough. Barely good. Sort of good. Really good.
I'll go.
Okay.
I'll start. So speaking to dirt, everything that happens at the top of the turn is very quick. The movements slow down at the bottom half of the turn. We talked about how she is not skiing in and out of counter. She swings her pelvis and her soon to be downhill hip around to create the rotation of the skis, which causes her upper body to actually rotate. She's trying to keep her shoulders down the hill, but she's still rotating with that upper body. And we also talked about at the top of the turn, she displaces that outside ski to a higher edge angle, which causes her upper body to incline and direct pressure towards the outside ski at the initiation and the shaping phase of the turn.
Cool. So what, in terms of all the performance, I mean, you kind of gave me the overall. Can you give me a little bit more about that last piece that you were talking about?
The displacing of the outside
Yeah.
ski and
Yeah.
tell me more. What do you want more of?
Just add some more dirt in there. Timing, duration. Oops.
Yeah, that's why I went first.
Oh,
Hey,
all right.
pass the baton to somebody else in your
There we
group,
go.
Shelby, for the bet for the.
Hmm.
Yeah,
You
you
got the
you
first,
get the
you got a
names in
better
mind.
now, so somebody else in your group gets to do the better.
Who wants to?
I don't think I
everybody
can
speak at
improve on
once.
that.
Come on, Scott.
right.
Okay.
Less words. Less words.
I don't know if it's less words. It's different words.
No, you don't get to say anything.
Okay. Why not? I was in this group.
You were. It doesn't matter. You were supposed to charm them with you're supposed to make me look good. You don't
Oh,
get to-
well,
you get to contribute tomorrow.
All right, I'll go.
All right.
So what we're seeing is a staticness in the skiing.
Cool.
Um,
When?
well, really I would say throughout the turn, because we have identified that the hips and skis are going in the same direction. So she's really got upper body and lower body is not separate. So as you can see that as she's coming into the shaping and then the finish phase of the turn, the hips are traveling in the same direction as the skis. So she's really doesn't have upper lower body separation, which is causing her to do an early initiation with her arms to try to change direction of her travel. That wasn't better. But
What is? Yeah. Okay.
I'm very confused, but I don't know how to say it, but I know what I'm trying to say.
Okay. You don't know how to say it.
No.
But, all right. Well, we got one more. Scott, you gonna shorten that up?
Well, I'm probably going to just make it worse, but
All right, cool.
she,
Thanks, Chuck. I know I feel good about how I did.
yeah.
Yeah.
No. I mean, the point of this is to screw it all up. I cannot emphasize this enough. We have to mess it up to get better.
I don't know how to do. I was just getting good at doing fundamentals and shaping phases. And phases, and now I don't know how to do dirt. My brain's all scrambled.
Well, they're going to ask you
just
about it.
add a
unfortunately.
couple adjectives to the fundamentals. Two.
Yeah, every
Two
sentence.
adjectives.
Yeah.
Two. No, two for the whole thing. Let them ask some questions. It'll be fine.
So to keep it really simple, we need to see more differential in the flex and extension of her legs, because she's her feet are too wide apart and they're too static. So we're not getting her, she's not getting positioned in alignment with her outside ski in order to be well balanced.
She's not using separation to align over the outside ski.
Yeah, that's what I said, right?
That's exactly what you said, Scott.
I think this is like a more interesting person because she uses the outside arm to help her turn.
Because her pelvis is a part of her lower body.
Well, that and the fact that she's got her, she's kind of like Kelby. Kelby was talking about how that outside leg is moving away. Well, as that outside moves away, it kind of starts to make it really hard to rotate the ski.
Makes it hard to do anything when you're standing
Yeah.
on your inside ski.
Well, yeah, and the further that she moves that outside ski away, the more she stands on the inside ski.
Right.
So I think what Katie was trying to say is because she squares up through the finish of her turn and aligns her upper body, her pelvis, and her feet, in an attempt to create counter, she moves her body, and most notably her arms, into a countered position, which causes a slight rotation and a pivot of the skis.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. Thank you so much. That's so good.
So can I offer? So it seems to me it's very awkward kind of skiing. Is she doing like white pass turns? Because even though the outside ski looks like it's outside, I see divergence, and it just seems to me that most of her weight remains on her inside ski.
Yes.
And that's kind of pulling her through the turns.
Well, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to say, okay, the reason why that's happening is because she doesn't have a lot of lateral separation because she has zero rotational separation.
But I don't think we've identified the root cause, the problem in her skiing.
Problem is she doesn't align over the outside ski.
I think the problem is she doesn't start her edging movements from the bottom up. She pushes the skis out and displaces them to an edge movement. At the same time, she has a little bit of a pivot, and that puts her in a place where she can't use her lower body. So she's stuck using what she's got.
So I think if we could get her to work in the fore-aft room and get her more forward on her skis at the top of the turn, that will allow her to direct pressure towards the outside ski. Because right now she's so far stinking back. Yeah, she's going to be displacing that outside ski. And because she's so far back, she's got to bank into the hill. So if we could get her more forward, that's going to make all the fundamentals come together.
Right, because she's turning with her butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything starts with her hips. We should
So
call her
she's only-
Boom Boom.
Actually, to make it really simple, I think what Kelby's, her butt is creating her edge angles, right? That's the only way
Yep.
she can make edge angles is she shifts her butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she needs to learn to make edge angles with her feet instead of with her massive inclination and butt.
Boom,
Well,
boom.
and
That's where all their strength is.
is this a chicken or egg thing? Because when she's in this position here, does she have enough separation to allow her to do that?
She's stuck.
She's stuck.
Mm-hmm.
She's in a pretty big hip hinge, so she needs to get forward.
I don't think
and
it's actually her hip hinge. I think
well,
what
she's
is
reaching.
holding her back is actually Gummy, can you move her to where we can see her a little bit from the side?
Yeah.
Because
Well,
she gets back and but like, look at her right there. Coming through the fall line, she was not back.
Yep.
She actually ends up too far in front of her outside ski fairly routinely. She has two different flexes in her ankles. Like right there, they're fairly open, but then as she oh, look at it right there. So,
But look how open her hips are, which is pulling her back, Dion.
Mm-hmm.
but you can have, so it's not actually the hinging at the hip that's the problem, it's the hinging at the
It's the
knees.
Yeah.
Her
the
hinging
in
at the
ankles.
hips is,
Yeah, her ankles and back are pretty similar, but they're both too upright.
It's almost like she's sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
She's trying to get the squirt, Dion.
Yeah, I know she's trying to get the squirt. We know that she's been coached to try and do this.
Are you
What's the
sure?
squirt? What's the
Yeah, because the
squirt?
next person behind her in this video is Tommy G. So
All right, all right.
What's the squirt?
Oh, that's when you come out of a gate, sometimes you can drop your hip and that'll allow your skis to squirt forward, kind of like
Oh.
toothpaste coming out of a it's
Mm.
a vault. It's a way to kind of get a little bit of vault and squeeze out a little speed at the end of a turn. But you got to have timing to do that. And sometimes you
Theoretically,
don't
it
have it.
should be done with the ankles.
Yeah, it should be. But
so in order to use her lower legs to move her skis from one edge to another, she would have to keep appropriately flexed ankles in order to have access to her talus bone, which is what actually inverts and everts your foot, is the talus joint.
Agreed.
So the other thing that happens is as she pushes the skis from one side to the other, because once she gets into a rhythm here, you can see her actually push, push, push. When she's doing that, it moves her back. Just like an upper body rotation moves you back and inside, when you extend like that and push your legs from one side to the other, it moves you back. Because right there, she doesn't necessarily start out aft. She gets aft as she's going.
Would you say that her ankles are kind of open in the fall line?
Sometimes.
I don't think she's
Right,
does a pretty good job of trying to maintain contact. But as Dion said earlier, a lot of the problems she has is just a lot of flex in the knees. Like right here, that's just, she's got contact with the front of the boot, but it's all negated by, well, as I always like to say, nobody who uses a lot of flexing in the knees ever was forward. Right? It's really, really, really hard to be forward if you flex a lot in your knees. Like, nary important and are impossible. So we would probably like her to be more forward, but she needs to open up her knees to do that.
Okay.
I think you need one other thing here as well. When she's starting out and coming straight at us, she's got a pretty high Q angle, and those skis are not on the same edges.
No, they're not. No, I mean, are they ever?
She's literally on the inside edges.
Yeah.
They're not riding flat. I would really suggest that she gets some good alignment done. And somebody's got their mic open while they're partying in the background.
I got it.
So can you say that again? Too much flex in the knees is what?
Because she's so flexed in the knees, you know, in this position, where is she at? Got to get her butt right here. Because she has so much flex in the knees, her butt goes back. So it doesn't matter. I mean, doesn't matter how much you flex your ankles. If your butt is back, you're going to be back.
It's going to pull you off the front of the boot.
Yeah. Or, I mean, you can bend at the hinge at the waist to try to negate some of that. But as you start to get far enough back with your butt, it doesn't matter. It's just going to pull you up aft. And right now, she's very aft. And I'd like to say she's trying to squirt out of this turn. No, I don't think that's the intent. It's more like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. All right. Hey, did you guys get anything good out of this tonight?
Oh
Yeah, this was really helpful tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, need to just keep on practicing.
Yeah, I mean, you guys got any suggestions on how you would like me to improve this? I am all ears. So, yeah, I mean, I have no problem. Let's go back to breakout rooms. Let's get that started early this year, and I'll go scour the internet for appropriate videos, and let's really kind of button up and get you guys to speak more so I have to speak less.
And
Less of
maybe
me.
try to concentrate on one issue at a time.
Or would you like to do one fundamental?
Yeah, I think that maybe one fundamental or one common thread or blended, but kind of more focused than just moving in.
Maybe it would be more interesting if we picked a common thread and then tried to apply some fundamentals to it. How about that?
That
No?
may be, yeah.
Because I still want to give you guys the choice of what fundamental you want to talk about. Okay. I don't want to button you down. Hey, today is Tuesday. We do fore aft. We always do fore aft on Tuesdays. I don't want to do that. I want to I will go ahead and roll the dice and figure out what
Common thread.
common
That's
thread
pretty
we
good.
can use, and I will try to find some appropriate videos that have enough variety that we can do that. How about that? That sounds fun.
Chuck,
Yeah.
I think you're moving in the right direction. Also, listening to the group, there were multiple people that were bringing up, they were getting their heads wrapped around fundamentals and stuff, and this dirt thing is a big surprise to people.
Mm-hmm.
How
So
is it a big
if you
surprise?
want to do dirt with fundamentals, that's fine. If you want to choose a common thread, because there's often several fundamentals in a common thread, and
Yes.
apply dirt to that,
Yeah.
that would be
We
fine too. But I think for the next session or two, probably ought to be really shoving dirt at whatever topic they're going with,
all
since
right.
that seemed to be a point of confusion tonight.
Perfect. Let's do that. Let's really shovel some turds in your direction. So you really
Shovel
kind of
some turds in my direction.
shovel some turds in your direction, and yeah, let's because I mean, frankly, we don't do it enough, and that's one of the first things the examiners will pick up is you didn't tell me how much and when and where, and I mean, you just kind of they were flexed at the top of the turn, they were not flexed at the bottom turn. Well, how much and how quickly and how often and when does it happen? That's really kind of important. So, and how much, how much is intensity? So, cool. All right,
Right.
let's do that, and we'll see you guys next week.
Okay. Good night, everyone.
Yeah,
Hey,
no doubt.
Chuck, before you
Thank you
go,
very
may I
much.
chat
Night,
with
night.
you?
Yeah. I got a minute or two. Is Dion still here too?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I want to share an MP3 with you guys.
Oh, I just wanted to chat with you without an MP3.
Oh, okay. I already turned this thing off. I remember now.
Mike, are you
Thank
going
you.
back to Brack?